Last week's roundtable discussion set record viewing figures for British wrestling on YouTube, but Alex Shane's shocking revelations create controversy levels unheard of in the FWA. The agenda's lists of demands for Martin Stone to appear at European Uprising on November the 20th are finally revealed. And just days from the London MCM Expo, we see what matches the FWA will present to over 60,000 fans on the road to Uprising. All that and more on this week's Frontline. Hello, I'm Len Davies and welcome to Frontline. The FWA's recent roundtable discussion has set all-time viewing figures for British wrestling on YouTube. The six-part roundtable and Alex Shane's emergency message set record figures for the amount of viewers watching British wrestling over a 24-hour period on YouTube, managing to double the previous number.
Now I need to tell you one more thing, and I know this is the important bit. What also was said in that video was that people have been put in wrestling companies outside of WWE to make sure those companies do not succeed. Okay. Now, whether or not in the video it was claimed that it came from the businessmen or it came from the big company themselves. Let's look historically. That was the other thing people said. Plants put in wrestling companies. Let's look at the big competition company right now. Okay, that company was turning a profit, wasn't it? And what happened? A combination of another Vince from New York and you know, one of his big creations. But basically Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan, I'm going to say it, I don't care, Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan, between Vince Russo's booking and Hulk Hogan's intervention, that company is now not turning a profit anymore. Now, they're the same two people that made a multi-million-dollar profit-making company, the biggest company in the world at that point, WCW, end up being sold for $2.5 million to the very person they were at war with. So you telling me now there's no link between TNA making a profit and then these people getting involved in it nosediving, right? And WCW going from making all that money to being sold to Vince McMahon? I'll go one further. Let's look at ECW. ECW, which by the way was infiltrated, okay, by Todd Gordon, who was a shareholder. He was the guy that brought Paul Heyman in, and there was a conspiracy there where WCW implants, you know, were in ECW. That's, people call me a conspiracy theorist. That's fact. I say this to Tony all the time. I say we've already been infiltrated. Like, we have all these free people offering free assistance and stuff. Our champion's been signed to WWE. Some weeks he can work for us, some weeks he can't. Drew McDonald's come and said this stuff on our show. Clearly got permission, so they know what's going on.
However, it's not all been smooth sailing, as the controversial revelations by Alex Shane in part 4 of the programme have caused a huge backlash for both the head of content and the company itself. Shane's claims that many of the top wrestling promotions have been infiltrated by people whose aims are to destroy the companies from the inside has been met by a barrage of angry correspondence from several of the companies mentioned, including one who's threatened legal action should Shane persist in his claims. Several current and former FWA employees have contacted Managing Director Tony Simpson about the issue, going so far as to question Alex Shane's mental state and whether he's fit to hold the position he currently does within the company. Yet there appears to be an equally balanced cross-section of people who either agree with Shane's allegations or are open to the issues he's raised, and these even include employees of some of the companies mentioned. Shane is expected to issue a statement at this week's London MCM Expo regarding the reaction to his claims, which we hope to bring you on next week's Frontline. However, to judge for yourself, you can see the video in full by going to the Grapple Group YouTube channel now. It appears that Marty Scurll will get his wish for a one-on-one match with Chris Travis, and it will happen this weekend at the London MCM Expo.
You see, it's all very well they're being popular up north, you know, main eventing working men's clubs in front of 20 people, but myself and Zach, we've been all up and down the country.
Fans will recall Scurll's harsh words about Travis a few weeks ago. Frontline's Richard Parker caught up with Travis and got this response.
Following Hope and Glory, Marty Scurll has challenged you to a one-on-one match at the London Expo. What are your thoughts?
My thought, Marty Scurll has challenged Chris Travis of Project Ego fame at the London Expo.
Yes.
One-on-one?
Yes.
No Sam Bailey?
Just the two of you.
We don't need that Sam Bailey anyway. Listen, I beat Sam Bailey. May have held the tights a little bit. Marty Squirrel, he knows he can't beat me. He only beat me by holding the tights. When I held Sam Bailey's tights, it was to send a message to Squirrel. He knows he can't beat me. He knows Project Ego are quite a lot better than the leaders. I mean, the leaders are all right. The leaders are fine, but Project Ego, a little bit amazing. So you know what? I accept the challenge. I'll prove to Squirrel, I'll prove to me, I'll prove the entire world, I'll prove to Kirby as well, because he'll want me to win. I'll prove to everyone, Project Ego #1, Chris Travis #1, Squirrel, bit of a fail. Is that all right?
Fans can now add Marty Scurll versus Chris Travis to the lineup over the 2 days at Expo, which already includes the Cartel's Tag Team Title Tournament rematch against the Agenda's Joe Redman and Yestin Reese. Fans can also expect to see Rockstar Spud take on RJ Singh in a rematch from their last Expo clash. The stars of FWA Adrenaline will be on hand to showcase British wrestling's ones to watch in the future. And in a rematch from their hard-hitting clash at Tiverton, shown several months ago on Front Line, the Agenda's Dave Morales takes on the leader of the Resistance and the #1 contender for the FWA's World Heavyweight title, Leroy Kincaid. All of the contests at the Road to Uprising will be recorded for broadcast on the FWA YouTube channel in the coming weeks. However, to be at the London MCM Expo live, go to www.fwauk.com now for more details. This week, the FWA's Managing Director Tony Simpson made public the Agenda's list of demands for Martin Stone to appear at European Uprising. According to an email sent by Simpson to this very programme, should Stone win against Kincaid, then the belt will officially stay in the hands of the Agenda as a faction without one sole member being declared champion. This would in essence mean that any member of the faction could defend the title if they choose, a situation which caused huge issues for the old FWA management with Greg Lambert's Dark Cult and the former tag team champions, The Family.
Williams rolls through, here comes Kincaid, Morales didn't make the tag, clothesline, and another! Kincaid has pinned Morales a couple of times, it reaches him under the spear. Will we be 3 for 3 tonight? Kincaid nips up! And the hip-hop sensation is proving tonight in Wolverhampton that resistance is not futile.
Yet should Kincaid win, the Agenda have demanded that they should get the first rematch at the FWA's first show of 2011, New Frontiers. What makes this part of the proposal interesting is that the Agenda have stated as part of the agreement that the rematch could be taken by any wrestler in any company worldwide. We have already seen contracted talent from both the WWE and TNA shockingly appear as part of the Agenda over the past 6 months. Such a clause begs the question, just how many more members of this alleged global conspiracy could there be? We've had no word about Stone's medical condition or the FWA management's decision about the demands at the time of filming. There are rumours, however, that Stone may make an unscheduled appearance at this week's London MCM Expo. You can find a full report of what went down at Expo from Sunday by going to www.fwauk.com. Sadly, that's all the time we have for this week's Frontline, but here's what you can expect to see on next week's show. As the FWA heads towards the most important event in its 11-year history, we announce more matches for European Uprising on November the 20th at Birmingham NEC. With US wrestling legend Bret the Hitman Hart announced for Uprising weekend, we discuss his invitation to the British Wrestling Hall of Fame and the other names expected to attend. And we bring you brand new FWA matches filmed at the London MCM Expo. Until then, I'm Len Davies and you've been on The Front Line.
If you'd like to purchase any of the DVDs featured in this show, go to www.fwauk.com.
This is the resistance, and we need your help.